What's up guys, and welcome to fcp1videos.com. My name is Andre. Today I'll be teaching you guys how to do a design with color. We'll be doing the logo for the USF. That's the University of South Florida. So let's get started. So first, like always, we gotta drape the client. Put half of the neck strip under the cape, the other half we fold it like this so no hair falls into the client's clothes. Like always, I want to go over the clippers really quick. I use the Wall Seniors. I keep the blades the same way they come from the store. The Andes Masters, I adjust the blades so they can cut closer. See them right here? From factory, they come kind of like that. In one of my other videos, I show you guys how to adjust them, open them and adjust them and make them cut closer. I use a pair of the T outliners. These ones I got them set up to cut really close. In one of my other videos I show you guys how to open them and adjust them to cut really close. I use this to do the beards on the people that get irritated when you use the blade. I also use the Walls detailers. I use this to do the shape up and to do the back of the neck. I keep this the same way they come from the store. These ones I adjust them to cut closer. Alright, so let's get started. So I'm gonna be teaching you guys how to do the logo for the USF Bulls. Alright, this is their logo right here. For those of you guys who don't know, that's the University of South Florida. That's the university here in Tampa. So in one of my other videos I did Popeye. I show you guys that you can use a mold. I'm gonna show you guys the mold right now. So this is the mold that I used when I did the Popeye on the other video. When you have a mold, it's cool if you have time to make one, you know, to print it, cut it out. What you do, you put it against the head, right, and you just trace it. So the mold is great for you to get an outline of what you're doing. It's a little tricky because you gotta hold it together, make sure that when you're doing this part, this is not moving. But other than that, using a mold is the most ideal thing. All right, especially if you're like me, that I'm not a real artist at drawing. So drawing it a few times is gonna help you get the design as close to what the client wants as possible. For example, I drew the Miami Heat logo a few times before I did it. See how it came out pretty good. This spider, I drew it a couple of times too before I did it. The Green Bay Packers logo, I drew it a few times before I did it. Drawing your designs before you do them will help you get them better. First of all, you want to clean your clippers in front of the client, and you want to turn them your way so the client sees that you're cleaning your clippers, that you're working with clean clippers. You don't want to save time by cleaning your clippers before the client sits in the chair. That's not a good way to save time, because then the client doesn't know if you were working with clean clippers or not. We're gonna oil the clippers first. I'm gonna trim down the hair, bring it down a little bit, so when I'm doing my design, it's easier for me to work with it. This is a number 2, a low 2. On the guard, it says number 0. These are the Speedo guides with the Andes Masters. You want to make the corners, especially when the client has the corners a little bit light. A lot of clients have it like that. You want to make it a little bit longer. So this is a high 2. I'm gonna run this high 2 right here in the corners. And then I'm gonna pass the low 2 for the rest of the head. You always want to keep the client's face clean. So let's get started with the design. By the way, I've never done this design before. This is my first time. Just trying to show you guys that you don't have to be too much of an artist to do this. It's easy. The more you practice doing designs, the easier it gets. Like I said, from drawing the design a couple of times, I figured out that it's easier for me for this specific design to do the inside of it first. When you draw whatever design you're trying to do, you will figure out what is best for you to start, like which area you want to start first. The area that I'm cutting, that's the area that later on I'm gonna color white. This area right here, what I'm referring to. The area between the green and the gold. When you're doing a design like this, it's very important that you keep in consideration how much space you have. Alright? You don't want to try to do too much and then it looks too cluttered. Like for example, I was debating to doing this design right here, or the one that has the U, the same U, and then the SF. And I went for this one because I figured with the SF it was gonna look too cluttered. Plus, I wanted it to fit in one picture. You always want to keep that in mind. If you're gonna use just the back or just the side, or if your design is gonna take the whole head. Now, I'm gonna make the golden line. So, I'm gonna make the outline now all around it. Okay? And for the line that I just did, I'm gonna make it wider and color it in white when I'm done. But I'm gonna do that with the blade. I'm gonna make it wider with the blade to save me some time. So, since I know I'm gonna make this line wider, I'm making my final line, I'm making it a little bit wider because I know it's gonna get a little smaller once I make this one wider with the blade. You guys following me? I know this line is gonna get a little thinner once I make this one wider. This is a little bit time consuming, so you want to make sure you give yourself plenty of time. If you work by appointments, make sure you give yourself like an hour or a little bit more than an hour, hour and a half, so you have plenty of time to work on your design and get it perfect. What I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna let it sit there so it can start softening out the pores while I do the blowout. For those of you guys who haven't seen my video on how to do a blowout, I'm gonna show you guys again. First, I'm gonna use the T-Out liners. Now I'm gonna use the Andes Masters all the way down to a low 0. This is the reason why I set them up to go closer, because it gets rid of the line for the T-Out line. It's really easy. Now I'm gonna bring it down to the second line. Always remember to cut in a circular motion. That way it fades out the line right away. Now I'm gonna use the wall seniors. Set it up on high 0. Now the low 0. With the wall seniors. Now I'm gonna use the number 1 with the wall seniors. Set up on high, the high 1. Now low, low 1. Now I'm gonna use the half guard. Set it up on low. You want to always verify with the mirror. On the mirror, you'll be able to tell which area needs a little bit more work. I see I need to pass the 1.5 a little bit more. Now we're gonna do the other side. Like I always say, remember, you wanna take the same steps you take on the one side, you wanna do the same exact steps on the other side. Whether you copy my steps or come up with your own, you always wanna know what you're doing, what's next. Be organized with your steps. So same thing, we're using the T outliners. Now we're gonna use the Andes Master, set it up all the way down. Same thing we did on the left side. Like I said, always cut in a circular motion, circular movement with the wrist, okay? Like this, fading out the line. Now we bring it down to the second line. Same exact thing we did on the left side. Now we're gonna use the wall seniors. Set up on high, high 0. Now low 0 with the wall seniors. Now we're gonna use the number 1. Set it up on high with the wall seniors. Set up on low, low 1. So now I'm gonna use the half guard. This guard is very important. I know a lot of barbers don't use it, but believe me, it'll save you a lot of time. It's very good. We're gonna use the blade on the design. Like I always say in my other videos, change the blade in front of the customer so he knows he's getting a new blade. Don't try to change the blade before the customer arrives just to save a few seconds. Trust me, you don't want to save time like that. Using the blade is what makes the design stand out more. So if you want your design to last a couple more days and stand out more, always use the blade. Especially if you're gonna charge a lot for your designs, if you're gonna charge extra for that, if you want to charge some good prices, make sure you use the blade. Notice how I'm cleaning the blade and the comb on a black towel. Alright? You don't want to clean it on your shirt or on the cape. Alright? It doesn't look professional. It's gonna get everything dirty. It's gonna get your shirt dirty or the client's cape dirty. So just use a black towel. Remember to leave the shaving cream on for a little bit, for a few minutes. It makes a big difference when you're going over the design. When you don't do that and you just put on the shaving cream and start cutting, a lot of times, because it's happened to me, you'll nick the client. And while you're doing the line, you'll nick them in different spots. And it's just because the boards are still not softened. I've been cutting hair since I was in the 8th grade. And I can tell you guys that doing designs is gonna grow your clientele really quick. Okay? I say that to my barbers, to my new barbers. I'm always telling them, do a lot of designs, because these kids, they go back to school and all their friends are gonna be like, oh, who did that? I like that. Blah, blah. And you'll get a lot of clients that way. So keep that in mind so you guys can grow your business quick. We're going to fade out around the design. We're gonna do a high blowout, almost like a low fade, to make the design stand out even more. Let me show you guys. Same steps that I was doing on the sides, I'm doing it in the back. I just used the T outliners. Now I use the Andes Masters all the way on low. Now I'm gonna bring it down to the second line. Now high 0. Now I'm even gonna fade out the inside of the U to make it stand out more. Look how it looks right now. Okay, and you guys will see once I'm done fading out the sides and right here in the middle how it's gonna look. Now I'm using the T outliners at the bottom because I want the fade inside the U to be very noticeable. Come back to the wall seniors and low. Bring to the middle. High 0. Now I'm gonna use the number 1 with the wall seniors. Keep in mind, guys, that fading out around the design makes your design a lot better. It makes it stand out, makes it nicer. I said that to one of my barbers. He's really good at doing designs, but he wasn't really fading out the sides. He'll do a design and not really do a fade around it. I told him, start doing a fade around, it's gonna look a lot better. And now his designs are looking way better. If you try to do a design like this and it doesn't come out perfect the first time, don't get discouraged. Okay, it takes a little bit of time. By the second time you do it, it might come out perfect. The more you practice, the better you get. I've had barbers that when they first started with me, they didn't know how to do designs at all. Then after I show them 1 or 2 things, a few things, they got better, and now they're really good. Some of them are even better than me. So the more you practice, the better you get. Now I'm gonna do a shape up, and then I'm gonna apply some color on it. You wanna make sure you do the shape up before you apply the color. Leave the color for last. That way it doesn't gonna smear or anything. You don't wanna mess with the color after you apply it. You don't wanna have the client lay his head on the headrest after you apply the color. That's why you wanna leave it for last. And the shape up, like I always say, don't push it back. Just keep it right where it starts to grow. Unless the client asks you to push it back, of course. Then you push it back. You always want your client to be comfortable. So always have your client put his head back against the headrest. Now for his beard, we're gonna make this a triangle. We're gonna make a triangle right here. You always wanna make sure you know what the client wants. Some clients want it different. A client might want a goatee, might want his whole beard, or he might want his beard thin, or round, or square. So you always want to make sure you know exactly what the client wants. It's not what you think he wants, or however you like it better. You want to make sure you ask the client and figure that out before you do it. Notice how I'm shaving right here on the hair to make the blowout last a few more days. Now I'm gonna pass the blade going up on the cheeks. On the neck, I usually don't pass the blade going up, only going down, because most people, their neck gets irritated. So unless they ask me, or I'll ask them if they want me to pass it going up. Always remember to keep the client clean. You don't want to let the client get full of hair on his face or on the cape. That's not professional. This is eyeliner. You could buy it at Walmart, Sally's, anywhere. There's 2 ways to apply color. You can use an eyeliner, or you can use a semi-permanent color. You're going to need a pencil sharpener when you're using the eyeliner. They're just about $1, so but make sure you guys get one. Nowadays, I see that a lot of young kids are asking for stars on their designs. And on one of my other videos, I teach you guys how to do a perfect star. There's a trick to it. So if you want to learn how to do a perfect star, check out that video also. Now we're going to start doing the outline. This one right here, the white one. And what I did was, instead of leaving an outline of hair, I left an outline without hair. See it? So I'm gonna fill it in with white. See how it's coming out already? Now I'm gonna be applying the gold color. This is actually the easiest part of the design, by the way. I really enjoy doing designs, and one of the reasons is that it makes my job more challenging. It makes it more interesting. Trying out something new, something different. And I'm telling you guys, believe me, doing designs is one of the best ways to get new customers. When this client goes back to school, to USF, his friends are gonna be asking him, oh, where you get that done at? And he can refer them to me. So now, to make it last longer, so it can stay in more days, we're going to apply the Pump It Up. It's a whole spray. So there you have it, guys, a design of the USF Bulls. For more video tutorials like this one and many more, come check us out at FameMasterVideos.com. And remember, keep practicing, because practice makes perfect. Take care. Peace.